but we don't show prep. So, so he had no idea.
I just barely make it in.
I'm sure you can tell, but we don't show.
I mean, let's put the cards down on the table here.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy. Ha ha. It's a 6-Rig Kane show. Can't forget the name though. Got Jazz, Blue, Vision, DJ, break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. Real put alive from the Hard Rock Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the 6-Rig champs. There's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards, a hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad. The 6-Rig Kane show. The 6-Rig Kane show. The 6 Rings Kane show. You know.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the 6 Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to the 6 Rings Kane Show. We are live here with DJ. Jazz Santana's arrival is imminent. DJ, how's it going? Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Christmas to you, too. It's going pretty good. To be honest, Christmas snuck up on me this year, so just kind of recovering from the holidays. But, visiting the in-laws and the family is like playing a 82-game baseball schedule or an extra couple games in the college football playoff. It's draining. You have a good time, but you definitely feel the after effects.
Yeah, no, it's been a trip, and then we got a bowl game.
Yeah,
bowl game to play now. So that's happening. Max buckets is at midnight, so yeah, definitely be there at midnight. We're gonna do some hoops, and boy, our man here likes to make an entrance. So without further ado, our boy Jazz Santana into the show to take over hosting duties for me. I held down the fort for 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
You did a great job.
2.5 were intro. So that was a strong 45 seconds I had in there. But how's it going, man?
It's going. Getting ready for a game tomorrow, obviously, and getting ready for the new year. So it's interesting game tomorrow. We're now underdogs, which is interesting to me, to say none of. Well, we were a few hours ago. So, but we got some good news, right? Branson Dean's going to be playing in the game. Trevante Citizen will be available. So we're going to need. I'm sure we're going to need some of those guys. I know that there's been a lot of things going on out there that a lot of people are talking about. Some players not playing, and some guys didn't even make the trip. So we'll see. The weather might be nasty. The weather might be great. Who the hell knows? But
it's on a baseball field. All the makings of a big time football game.
I have to say, for December, it is really nice here in the Northeast right now. So it's 53.
Yeah, I hope it stays that way. I hope it stays that way because I know that there was some rain in the forecast, and so we'll see. But I'm just excited. We got one more football game to go, and guys, an opportunity to see what's because apparently we don't have a quarterback yet. So and I do want to get into that a little bit today, but an opportunity to see Jakari Brown go out there and play well, and hopefully he does, because that could be, good sign for a good omen for things to come down the line potentially. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I know a lot of people are looking forward to seeing him play as well.
So just weather-wise, looking at it, looks like it's supposed to rain pretty much all night into the morning.
Yeah.
But then by 10, 11 o'clock, stop, game time. 51 degrees, cloudy, no rain. So allegedly, obviously.
I mean, come on, it's Yankee Stadium, right? They you know.
I mean, well, this is the interesting thing, right? Like, how's the drainage at a baseball field that you cover with tarp?
Right. I mean, that's gonna be.
It's gonna be fun. It could be a little sloppy. Could be a little sloppy sliding in the second there.
Could be. By the way, if my background noise is too loud, let me know.
I personally don't hear.
I don't hear anything. So
you're good.
I think you're all set to go on that. Cool. Yeah, it is kind of a weird one, right? It kind of comes out of nowhere because you kind of played that last game like a month ago, and then all of a sudden, oh crap, there's a football game. And a lot of players. Actually, I will say, you mentioned some of the guys not making the trip. All in all, we probably come out better than most teams in terms of. I mean, obviously, we lost the quarterback that would have been playing to Wisconsin, so that's a big loss because we're going to basically.
At least we're not FSU, right?
Right, but I mean FSU, but they're not atypical necessarily. I mean, we've had a lot more kids stick through it. Even you mentioned like Branson Dean. Certainly, most kids that are going into the draft are sitting out their bowl game. He decided to play, so we've had a we've made out better. And I don't want to just all constantly harp on this, but it shows some of the culture change under Mario that they're kind of bought into the program. And that's why you're seeing less of that. Obviously, a quarterback that's going to transfer and needs to hit the portal immediately, and TBD did that. So, but the vast majority of kids that can play are playing, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see some of the younger guys get a little more playing time. Obviously, we're replacing both safeties as well, right? So that's something that people don't talk about enough, I think. Is replacing an All-American safety, potential first-round pick in Cam Kitchens. Hold on.
Yeah, that one I heard. But anyway, yeah. So DJ, why don't I throw that to you on the safeties real quick? No, sorry, DJ. You want to comment on the safeties? So I hear that maybe Corey Couch might slide over, and they might do some interesting things at safety. DJ, what are your thoughts on our safeties? And then because we don't have either of the starters.
Corey Couch would be interesting just because of how athletic he is. I mean, obviously, if you're going to lose, two safeties, I would rather them, lose them to the draft than due to injury or anything like that. But, it's going to be interesting to see who's out there in terms of mixing and matching. And, this could be a chance for a lot of the younger guys, like Jazz said, to show what they can do and kind of build off, to 2024. And, in addition to just the regular season, you also have the 15 extra practices leading up to the bowl game. So there's been a lot of development, I think, over these last couple weeks that can only bode well for the future. Yes, it's not the, 9-3, 10-2 that we all wanted, but at the same time, in my personal opinion, there's been a lot of opportunities for growth and continued learning, which can only help us get better in the long run.
Yeah, for me, it's about I've been kind of excited to see Jaden Harris play a little more, and so this is an opportunity for him to be back there and obviously get significant playing time. He's probably going to start, I would assume, alongside maybe a guy like someone we haven't seen all year. Obviously, it's a miracle that he's even playing football, Brian Balaam, and some of the other guys. I don't know if you'll see Caleb Spencer too much back there, but you may see a little bit of him. As you mentioned, Vish, to Corey Couch might slide in there and play a little bit. So anybody that plays kind of like that star position is typically your more physical, more aggressive kind of player, right? So Corey Couch actually had a bounce back season this year, I would say. He looked a lot better. He still, has his things here and there, but he looked a lot better this year. So I fully expect guys like him, maybe, as I mentioned, Balaam and some other guys, Markeith Williams. I'm sure another.
Yeah, and we can get creative at safety because other than Kitchens' concussion scare against A&M, he and James Williams kind of took all the snaps there.
Right.
But we did not have that luck with health at the corner position. So, in the back half of the season, guys like Jadaeus Richards got a lot of playing time. So, I mean, we're totally comfortable with him starting and maybe sliding
he did another
corner. Yeah, so he can definitely start and he can slide one of the other corners over to safety. So we do have a lot of experience.
that they've been talking about bulking up a little bit, or even at the weight he's at now, playing safety, because he's a big corner. He's about 6'2", 6'3". So that's another kid you could see playing safety also. So
yeah, so fortunately we were able to get a lot of experience for our corners this year. So we're probably just going to put a lot of them out on the field, and some of them will be playing safety.
Yeah.
I mean, so let me ask both of you this question, because I don't have a strong, or don't know which way I lean on this. Do you think it's better to just get as many young guys experience as possible, or like to, assuming that there's some kind of clash with that and trying to just win the game at all costs? What do you think is more like? Would you be happy, or if we won, assuming it's a close game, I should get killed. It's a whole different animal that if you just look like you don't know how to play football. But assuming it's like a tight game, would you rather, win, but primarily lean on maybe some guys that aren't going to be here and that kind of thing? Or would you rather lose, but have, get a bunch of these young kids action that you think will pay off down the road?
You want to go ahead, DJ? You go first.
I might be in the minority here, but I would rather lose and get a bunch of these young kids some playing time down the road, because, prior to Mario, and it's no secret, this program lacked player development in several areas. And, Mario came in Coral Gables to rebuild the program, develop the program, and get it back to, top 10 finishes and, top 5 recruiting classes. And part of doing that is developing the players on the roster that you already have. And so while a bowl game win would be nice, I would rather start some of the young guys and better prepare the program for the future and continue that cycle of development so that it doesn't go, stagnant at some point next year or maybe even 2025. I would just rather continue the development cycle and get the kids, snaps in order for them to be in a position to succeed next year, especially with, how the injury bug, kind of happens late in the season. Your mic is off, Jazz.
Thanks for reminding me. I think it depends on the position. That's the way I see it. I think if you're looking at the linebacker position, I think you've got an opportunity that you've got a lot of young guys like Popo and Marcellus Pulliam. And Malik Bryant and some of these guys that have actually gotten some playing time, whether it's a little bit or not. I think that they can come in. I don't want to say it's going to skip, it's not going to skip a beat, but I think they can hold their own, right? They're big, they're strong, they're fast already. They're big kids. And they played well. They've played well when they've gotten the opportunity to play. So you're still going to have Wes playing. You're going to have Kiko playing, right? You're going to have some of these guys playing. The one I'm excited to see is Smith, Chase Smith, who apparently has been playing really well. He's probably going to get a lot of snaps in the middle, because I don't know if you're necessarily going to play Kiko, who's potentially your best, he is your best linebacker, right? The whole game, right? You may get him some snaps. It depends on how the game flow is. But that's a good opportunity, right? That's a good place where you can see some young guys play. Along the defensive line, you've kind of seen a lot of young guys play already, right? Jaden Wayne, Nigel Lee Kelly's not going to play. He's going to travel, but he's not going to play. Mazador's traveling, but not going to play as well. Cyrus Moss entered the transfer portal. Harvey transfer portal as well. So there's an opportunity where you might have to play some young guys. Right? I think Chance Williams entered the transfer portal also, if I'm not mistaken. So
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so Jaden Wayne is probably going to get some significant playing time there. Obviously, Ruben Bain, and then in the middle you've got Dean, who's going to graduate, and play in the NFL, but he's going to play, which is nice. LT is not going to play, so maybe there's an opportunity for Josh Horton to play a little bit, Ahmad Moten to play a little bit more, right? Those guys, you're going to see Thomas Gore, I'm sure, a lot, even though he's an upperclassman. You'll see some of those guys. The place that maybe I don't want to see that too much is maybe at the corner position, because I don't think we have a lot of developed guys, right? Like Robert Stafford is developing nicely, but I don't know if he's ready to play. Demetrius Freeney, I don't think is going to get a lot of playing time. If you see those guys play a lot, It's going to be tough, right? Because I know Rutgers is not a great team, but they've given some of these Big Ten teams some headaches when they play them, right? They've got some guys on the outside that can play a little bit. So I know they've got a wide receiver that's pretty good and one running back. I can't pronounce his last name. Who's really good also. So there's certain positions where you can deal with it, right? You might see some young guys on the offensive line like Ryan Rodriguez and McCoy, but those guys have got playing time, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
it depends on the flow of the game, really.
Yeah, and the reason I asked that question is, I'm a little bit like thinking it's been a month. We're active in the portal. We signed a top 3 recruiting class. Like, what is the purpose of this game? And I think it's a mix of getting to 8 wins matters, carrying that momentum matters, but so does getting the players experience in a bowl game setting, because we haven't played in a bowl game in a while. A lot of these kids have not, we didn't make one last year. We COVIDed out of one the previous 2 years, I think. So, or the previous year, and then the year before that was that Oklahoma State game. Right? Yeah, so it's been a while. And I know once the game kicks off, I'm going to be all about winning.
Yeah,
because you're not like
it's a Mario team, right?
Yeah, no, but I'm just talking about my head. Like, it's easy for me. It's easy. We lost DJ. Hopefully he'll come back. He dropped all the way out of the stream. But right now we're a little bit away from it. So it's easier to be analytical. Once the game starts, we're definitely going to be like, oh, gotta win. So, So yeah, that's why I was asking the question. I don't know where I land on it. I mean, you want to win the game. Getting to 8 wins matters. Carrying momentum matters. But yeah, if we can get a lot of guys action, it's going to be a weird thing. It's in a baseball stadium. I have a feeling, even though it might not be raining during the game, the field is probably not going to be great for playing football on. So, and Rutgers does have a really good defense. Offensively, they're challenged. So I'm sure we can get the full breakdown from DJ on his Big Ten experience here. So I'll throw it to DJ on that.
Yeah, I mean, DJ, look, this is a team that's coached by, obviously, I say what you want to say, but he's an old school beloved Kane, right? He was here during the good old days, and Greg Schiano is I think he's a great coach, he's a great defensive mind. He's a tough, hard-nosed guy that coaches Big Ten football, really. Like, if you think about it, right? Yeah. So he's gonna have his defense ready to play. Especially that it's his school, right? He's coaching against one of his pupils. Okay, Mario Cristobal is a guy that learned a lot from Greg Schiano. So this is, it's got some really cool storylines. But again,
before DJ hops in on Rutgers and kind of gives us a breakdown, because obviously he covers the Big Ten, so he probably has a lot better idea than I certainly than I do. I won't speak for Jazz on that. Does everyone? This is more for the chat. I'm sure the two of you realize this, but like, he was going to be the Hurricanes head coach in 2001, so he would have, and God knows what would have happened after that, right? But he talked to Butch Davis, and Butch Davis is like, "I'm not going to the NFL. I'm staying here." So he takes the Rutgers job. Then, of course, like a month later, Butch Davis goes to the Browns and ends up being Coker.
That's
and that is how Schiano. That's why Schiano went to Rutgers the first time.
I remember. He had Ray Rice. Didn't he coach?
Yeah. He built that in. They were a top 5 team at one point. Then he went to the Bucks and kind of has now come full circle again. But yeah, so he would have stayed at Miami to coach, what was the best team in the history of football. but Butch Davis convinced him that he was actually going to stay there, that pass the head coaching job to stay as defensive coordinator. So he leaves.
Yeah.
And not only does Coker then get bumped up, that's where he hires Chud and Randy Shannon to be his coordinators, and Randy Shannon became the next head coach. So really, like, a decade of Canes coaches came out of Schiano taking the Rutgers job.
Yeah.
So anyway, one of those butterfly effect things. Yep. DJ, that was 25 years ago or something. So how about something more current on Rutgers?
Let's see. 25 years ago, I was 3. So that puts that into perspective right there. This Rutgers team, I'm not going to say that, it's going to be an easy game. A Greg Schiano team is a very disciplined, tough, physical team. They are more defensive minded. Their offenses tend to struggle, but they are very technically sound defensively. And, they always, Shiano always gets the most out of his players. Um, you know, Jazz, I think it was you who mentioned the Michigan game earlier this season. It ended up being a 31-7 win for Michigan, but it was a very close game, up until, the second half began. So, when you look at this team overall, they began the season, I believe, with 3 straight wins, and then they kind of went up and down from there. But um, one of their linebackers is really good. I'm trying to remember his name right now. Deion Jennings is his name, and he's a very solid linebacker, very solid defensive player, and their leading rusher has just over 1,000 yards. So to me, it's going to be more difficult for Miami offensively than it is defensively, just because of the challenge and the physicality that Rutgers presents.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be a 45-7 Miami win. I think it's going to be, a fairly close game, a respectable showing for Rutgers. I do think at the end of the day, Miami will win, but I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park by any means.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I just think the elements, the weather's going to play a factor in it. I think that I want to throw this to you, Vish, right? Because
damn, Fresh has confidence.
Yeah,
I don't see that happen, but
I don't know about that, but I'll take it if it happens. And I know Ian Coleman says that Horton's going to have a breakout game. He's talking about Zay Horton, the wide receiver.
Yep.
Combined 200 yards between the three with him and Jakari.
I mean, what do you mean by Jakari's 200? Because he better have more than 200 if we're gonna do crap. Because he's the quarterback. So.
I'll be honest. Look,
200 ground yards.
I mean,
this is what I wanted to talk to you about.
Is that just passing, or are we talking because he?
This is what I wanted to talk to you. I don't necessarily think if we're just talking about passing alone, that's not bad. I don't necessarily.
That'll be all right. Assuming, yeah.
I don't know the football. So if you get another 70 or 80 yards on the ground from JB there, you're talking about that's one hell of a game, right? Potentially. We'll see how that goes. Vish, do you think that Jakari Brown, so this is an opportunity, right? Especially that there has not been, any talk about, transfer portal quarterbacks, Cam Ward, Will Howard, DJ Uiagalelei, KJ Jefferson, whoever you want to throw out there, right? And I want to have that conversation towards the end of the show because I think that
it's definitely front of mind, I think, for everyone. For
sure. But this is an opportunity for Jakari Brown to kind of put his name in that hat and say, it's going to be me next year. Go get a grad transfer quarterback to back me up, to have some experience in case, God forbid, I go down. Okay, you've got a guy that can come in. But it's going to be me. This is his opportunity for him to do that. I don't know if the fan base is going to want that or cares for that one way or the other. I think most of the fan base is kind of like, go get me Cam Ward or go get me a quarterback. It doesn't matter who it is. Just go get me a quarterback. I'm going to be honest with you, right? Like, my thought process is I'm kind of open to all possibilities. I don't think necessarily, there's a lot of people out there, right? That do shows and they have their opinions and they think that this is QB number one. This is a guy you got to get. I don't know if there's anybody out there that's going to, come in and be the quarterback of this team, or we're going to go 13-0, right? I just don't see that happening next year. I think this team is going to be a lot better. I think we compete for an ACC championship, and that's great and all. But I just don't know if there's that guy that's out there that's going to win you, that's going to go 13-0. Either way, whether it's Cam Ward, Will Howard, or whoever it is, right? Will those guys get you 9, 10, possibly 11 games, 11 wins? Yeah, sure. That could definitely happen. But I'm telling you right now, I'm trying to be realistic here with the fact that JB could be the guy. You never know. And if he goes out and he balls, then the conversation is, well, look at what he did in a bowl game. And then the opposite conversation is going to be it's only one game, and look what he did last. So there's a lot going on there, Vish. I kind of want you to kind of dissect the whole Jakari Brown thing and the possibility of him ending up having a great game, and then what happens?
Well, I mean, they have a whole body of work to evaluate him on that we haven't seen. So
Right.
my assumption is they'll lean on that as well. It won't just be a one game situation for the coaches. For us, it is. But no, you want him to play really well. You want him to be an option to start next year. We have no quarterback. If he plays really well and you get someone like, let's say, Cam Ward or Howard or whoever it is, I mean, look, he redshirted this year for a reason. He's a sophomore next year. It's not his clock is not running out this summer. So you want him to put his hat in the ring and say, "Hey, if I'm not the quarterback of 2024, I'm the quarterback of 2025." And for the overall team, like, look, someone's got to play quarterback next year. Like, I don't know what people are looking for. There's not, like you said, there's not a unicorn out there that's like, oh, just push this easy button and someone comes in. And we saw that a lot this year too, right? Where Emory Williams was clearly not ready to play yet, but he had to because TVD was that bad, and then he got injured, and then he was that bad that they had to make a move. Like, that's not good. So you want options there, but you also just have to go with who's on the roster. Like, if there was, if Jay Garcia was still on campus, he probably would have got in there. TVD probably would have gotten benched a lot more quickly than he did. But that's your depth chart. So if our depth chart is Jakari next year, guess who's starting? Like, I mean, I don't know what people want. Like, you can't conjure a quarterback out of thin air. So, I mean, him playing well and putting his foot in the door is a great thing for this program. You need that. How do you build depth, right? You need him, and you need to also go on the portal, like you said. If you go get a portal quarterback and Jakari Brown beats them out in spring, great, right? But you need that competition there. If you go get a portal quarterback and Jakari's like, I'm out of here, or he looks like crap and he's not actually going to play well, that's a bad thing. So, like, I understand everyone wants, like, immediacy, and we literally Google guys and then fall in love with them immediately. And I can tell you right now, if someone with Tyler Van Dyke's numbers was in the portal, be like, we got to get that guy. Look at how many touchdowns he throws, or whatever the hell it is. Like, that guy threw for 400 yards in that one game. Holy crap. Imagine what he would do in our offense. It's just like we do that, right? We haven't really watched, look, Cam Ward looks great on paper. I'm not going to pretend like I watched a bunch of Washington State games. So, like, we're just assuming, to your point, Jez, that someone we're going to get in the portal is going to be a magic elixir, and we're all of a sudden going to go undefeated. And that's just not realistic. So if you want to build depth in, you need a portal quarterback and you need Jakari Brown playing well. Because Emory Williams, that arm break sucks on multiple levels. One,
he's not going to be ready for next year.
Well, he would have started. He would have started 2 more games. He would have gotten all these bowl practices.
Right.
He needed that time. So even if he's physically healthy, like, all this missed time is going to really hurt his development.
Yeah.
So like it's Jakari Brown or whoever we get out of the portal, and I think everyone always, it's that grass is always green on the other side stuff. Everyone's always like, oh, that other team's quarterback is definitely better than. Maybe they're not. So you really want Jakari with a chance to start.
Well, it's not only that maybe they are, maybe they're not, but maybe it's not the guy that everybody is telling you it is or it's going to be, right? Like, everybody falls in love with Cam Ward. And, oh, my God, Cam Ward is, the next, Caleb Williams, or the next this one, or the next that one. And if you get Cam Ward in here, forget about it. This team is going.
Well, I can tell you right now, Jazz, to your point, if we had asked in October, just on a poll, not going to give you options, who is Washington State's quarterback? No one in the Miami fan base would know.
There's a strong chance that a lot of people would know.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to name him. I'll tell you that right now. Like, off the top of my head, I'd have to, Google it or something.
Yeah. There's some people that wouldn't know, but he made his name by playing well, in certain games.
No, he's a good player. I'm not saying he's not a good player.
No, he's good, but he's got his deficiencies, right? So he still actually needs to develop a little bit certain things in his game. If he does, he's got elite traits, as a lot of people like to say. However, there's some other guys out there, that may not be the popular choice because. Here's the reason I'm going to tell you this. And this is not a knock on anybody. But if one person on the internet, it could be some random Hurricane fan. If one person on the internet is telling you that this guy is the best guy since sliced bread, you're going to see everybody else. You're going to say, just because this one guy told you that this guy is the man, this is the guy that we need to get. And I don't think that there's a one size fits all for this situation, right? I think that there's actually a few players, a few quarterbacks that are in the portal that could potentially fit this system. I also think that now with the ruling now that any quarterback can enter a transfer portal, you don't have to, the whole one you can transfer one time, then you have to sit out. That's gone for at least for this year. There's a possibility that a lot of these other guys that haven't entered yet are going to enter. And now you're talking about some other quarterbacks that are out there that could potentially be better fits for the Hurricanes. So,
yeah, we talked about this last show, right? That look, one door closes, another opens, right?
2 weeks ago, if you ask me, I'm desperate. I'm like desperate. I need a quarterback. I need Cam Ward. I need Will Howard. I need one of these guys. I need Kyle McCord. Whoever, just give me a quarterback already. Then I kind of sit back and I talk. I think to myself, I go, hold on a second. This is not the way it should work, right? And I think Mario Cristobal kind of realized that as well, right? Because at the beginning, we all heard a lot of us said Mario's not going to wait around. He's not going to sit around and let Cam Ward or Will Howard or anybody stretch this out and this, that, and the other. And I think he realized it after the fact that it's not how this is going to go, right? You need a quarterback that can come in and win you 9 or 10 games now so that you can start developing other guys, right? And build that room of Vish. You're very adamant about that. And I think we all agree that this room is not it's not a great room right now.
The depth isn't there either.
The depth is not there. You have to develop guys. So if you can bring in a guy, if Ja'Cory Brown can do a hell of a job, then yeah, I think he deserves every right to compete for that starting job. If not, deserves to get it, right? Just based off of performance, right? Then you can bring in another guy and develop the other guys that you have coming in, Judd, and then Luke Nickel coming in the year after that. So you've got an opportunity to grow. And look, again, if you have a national championship caliber team, you're not going to start a freshman quarterback anyways. You might go in the portal and go get you the best guy at that point and pay whatever it takes and NIL to get him over here. But right now, the fact of the matter is that Ja'Cory is your guy. And there's some guys out there that can come in and fit this system right now. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that my number one guy is Cam Ward or that my number one guy is Will Howard or KJ Jefferson or this, that, and the other, or even DJ. Because guess what? A lot of people are like, I don't want DJ. Why? Why don't you want DJ? Because you saw 2 or 3 years ago that he stunk it up a couple times against, when he was at Clemson. Did you guys see how he played at Oregon State this year? I take DJ in a heartbeat right now, right? I take KJ Jefferson. Oh, but he's just like Ja'Cory. No, he's not. He's 6'5", 250 pounds.
Also, who his offensive coordinator was last year. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know, right? That's it. Hey, look, and then some people are like, I don't want Tua's little brother here. Well, we know who his offensive coordinator was.
Yeah, I mean, we got some baggage here.
So, but you've got so many different options. And I'm not saying all those guys are a great fit for Miami, but don't go off of, here's what I say. Do the research, look at the film, and create your own opinion of who you want. Because none of you are going to be wrong. This is the way I see it. Kings fans, none of you are wrong. Okay? It's who you like. But at the end of the day, it's who Mario really wants, right? I know a lot of people know that he's set on his, he wants Cam Ward or he wants this one or that one. But at the end of the day, man, just get some guys in here that can play football, that can manage a game, that can make some good plays and win you some football games.
Right. And
I'm not of the opinion of we need a game manager or we need Brett Favre. No, I just want a guy. I don't care who it is or how it is. Come in and win some football games. Lead this football team. Don't be a pain in the ass. Be the guy. Follow that culture that Mario's instilled and win some football games. And that's how you build the depth around that position.
Right. And just to add to that, people think that the quarterback was the only thing standing between us and like 13-0. It's right. Nonsense. And we need to get to that level. The whole program needs to elevate, not just the quarterback position. Yeah. Good example of that is we won the Virginia game with some of the most abhorrent quarterback play I've ever seen, and then we lost the Louisville game and the quarterback was great. Yeah. Like and because we're not there as a program yet. So I think again, people just want quick fixes. I think the quarterback's going to come in riding on his white horse and be the savior. And it's just everyone has to get better. That's how you like, as bad as the end sequence is against like Georgia Tech, for example. Obviously, we should kneel the ball and we win the game.
Right.
When you look at like why are we in a close game with Georgia Tech? Yeah, it's because the quarterback was terrible. That's one of the reasons. It's not the only reason. We were up 10-0 in the third quarter. Thumbs up to myself. And the defense gives up like a 90-yard touchdown.
Giving himself a thumbs up. What the hell is that?
Here we go. Let's do it.
You were?
If you have a Mac, it'll do it. If you have the right
I don't have a Mac.
It's got to be the right update.
Fat fingers, Jesus Christ. Okay.
It's not happening for you, Jazz. You don't get the thumbs up treatment. No, but I mean, it's also like the defense. You know, we were up 10-0 in that game. The defense gave like a long touchdown drive. Right. I mean, and if you get to stop there, the game's probably over. So it's just everything needs to get better, right? And if you think, you know, you're getting a quarterback in here that's going to immediately just, we're going to win every game. Because no, and it's not fair to put that on whoever the quarterback is going to be next year. LSU lost 3 games last year and had the Heisman Trophy winner on their team, right? I mean, like everyone just needs to understand that the way you win is as a team, especially in college. It's not the NFL. People want to make it the NFL where you spend all your money on your quarterback, and they're kind of the make or break. In college, it's not like that because you can recruit. There's no limit on you can have elite players at every position. We're getting there at certain positions. We're getting there at offensive line. I think we're getting there at running back. You know, but there's still just overall across the board. When we get there, you'll see the difference. You won't be in these close games. Georgia Tech won't be able to get a first down on us. Like, it won't matter, right? And so I think that's where it's, you know, we're not there yet. So whoever the quarterback is going to, hopefully it'll be better than what we had last year. But unless we elevate everything else, we might win it. We might go 8 or 9 wins instead of 7, but that's not what people are expecting. They think get Cam Ward and we're going to go undefeated. Just like, relax.
No. He'll elevate our team, but you know, and like you said, Vish, everybody else has to kind of elevate as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, like if he like, again, we lost that Louisville game, and it was the defense who was great most of this year,
right?
But that's just where we're at, right? I mean, we're not quite there yet, and this is what it looks like. That's why I'm optimistic. Actually, this is what it looks like when you're putting those building blocks in place. It doesn't happen overnight.
And it's funny that Rick mentioned here Ken Dorsey, if he had any years of eligibility.
He's got some coaching eligibility left.
Yeah, that's like a perfect example of a guy that, so cerebrally, he was unbelievable, right? But the guy didn't have the greatest arm. He wasn't fast. He was a 6'4" kid, 6'5" kid, but he was 190 pounds soaking wet, right? But he had it up here, and he had look at the guys he had around him, right? He had the best offensive line in college football. Potentially college football history with how that offensive line was built. He had, four Hall of Fame running backs, I want to say, but four amazing running backs that all ended up in the league and all did great, right? Potential Hall of Famer Frank Gore and so on and so forth, and some other guys that he had, and Portis and
by the way, shout out to Reggie Wayne, Andre Johnson off those teams
Andre Johnson.
Who are both just announced tonight finalists for the Hall of Fame. So shout out to them, and Devin Hester as well, who got down selected into the finalists. So, but yeah, no, 2 of those guys Dorsey threw to.
Yeah, he threw to Shockey, you name it, Kellen Winslow, all these guys that he was able to throw to, right? And then obviously that defense, forget about it. But that was a team game, right? That was a team. That was the greatest team ever in college football history. It wasn't he was the greatest quarterback in college football history. He was a Heisman candidate. He was a Heisman finalist because of Portis and McGahee and Gore and Andre Johnson, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And that's what you need. Now the guys around them have to elevate their game as well, okay? And they're going to have to play, they're going to have some really good, skill position players. They're going to have to help the quarterback out regardless. Because even the guys like Jaden Daniel, right? Like Jaden Daniels at LSU won the Heisman, but he had guys like Brian Thomas and what's this other guy's name? I can't remember his name now. The other wide receiver that's an absolute stud over there. He had those guys, right, that he was able to throw to all the time. Plus, he also had legs. He can run. The game has changed a little bit. So my point is that it's not just on the quarterback. And Vish, you said it first, but it's obviously it helps to have a really good one. But I think everybody just kind of needs to sit back and I've noticed less people asking about the damn quarterback now.
Yeah, we will have someone will quarterback this team next year, and there will be a highly regarded player.
I think that's
what I'm going to say. We're not going to throw a walkout out there. It's going to be a big time player that was highly regarded as could have played anywhere quarterbacking next year.
I'm sure it will be. I know there was some questions on some recruits. I know
here we go. This is definitely you and DJ's.
Here we go. Yeah, Ian. There's been rumblings. I know Antoine Jackson, who, of course, the story. Everybody knows the story. Like, he was committed to Miami last year. Really young kid. Fell in love. His girlfriend went to East Carolina, and he decided to follow her there. And then you've got Xavier Mincy, who is a kid that we're fighting. We're fighting for. He's a high school kid who we're fighting for between Florida and Alabama and Miami. So that's going to be a battle there. I'll let you take Mincy. I'll take Jackson. Look, I'm actually happy. Then a lot of people. There's a lot of fans that are like, hell no, I don't want him back on this team. Man, you're an idiot if you don't want that kid back on this team. Number one. Number two.
Shout out to Canes today, and I believe that song is older than he is, but let me throw that out there.
Oh, no. Oh, my God.
Our boy Canes today, friend of all of our shows. But yeah, Canes today is a good dude, good person who is still in school. Let's leave it that way. I don't want to call him a kid. It's kind of insulting, but, he's laughing at it because he knows I think that is older than him. But anyway, shout out to Canes today in the chat.
Everybody's a kid to you guys.
Look.
Thanks, DJ.
Look.
Calm down, all right?
Yes. Remember, I can do reaction stuff, so we can get the party going here. I think this will pick up, right? There it is.
Wow, look at you, bro. Look at you. You're so special over there. I can't do that.
You gotta check your operating system version, man. They pushed an update like a month ago.
Jesus Christ was born before this computer. After this computer.
So definitely Kate today that it's not as old as your computer.
So check this out. Antoine Jackson.
Yeah, Antoine Jackson.
Antoine Jackson is I'm actually excited for the opportunity to get him back to Miami. I know there's a lot of fans that are talking crap out there. They're like, I don't want that kid. Look what he did last year. It's a 16-year-old kid who's in love with a girl, and now the girl broke his heart and he wants to transfer. Okay, let's just call it what it is, right? Leave the kid alone. He's a 16-year-old kid. So if you're a grown-ass man and you're arguing with yourself, really, right, or on Twitter about not letting a kid come back or talking trash about him, then you need to kind of reevaluate, where you are in life, number one. Number two, the kid got playing time at a group of 5 school at a Division I football program and played really well as a freshman. Had a pick 6, 19, 20 tackles, whatever, started some games. This kid now has some development under his belt, and he's really talented. Now you bring a kid like that in here at a position of need and continue to develop him here with Adai, with Guidry, and those guys who know defensive backs. You got yourself a hell of a football player potentially. I want him here. So I hope that Antoine Jackson decides to commit because he's a hell of a football player, and I can see him coming in here and potentially,
he's a starter. He's a starter on this team right now. Let's be real here.
He could. It's Daryl Porter. Well, I don't know because it's Porter and Damari Brown right now, but he could start in the slot, right?
I think he's out there. Yeah, I think he's out there for sure. And look, for those that criticizing his decision to go to East Carolina, we all, as we go through our adult life, learn that life lesson at some point. He did.
Yeah.
We've all done stupid. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
He's lucky he's got an opportunity, right, to write it or whatever.
Yeah, let's be real though. Come on, man. Who are we kidding? Who was out there I can't believe he did that? Really?
Yeah.
Really? You can't believe that?
You can't believe that. He chose a girl over.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Over his school.
Come on. We all haven't done dumb shit like that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I don't even understand the people holding this against him. If he wants to come play at Miami, he's an excellent football player. What are we doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on over, my friend.
Yes, exactly.
Mincy's an interesting one, DJ. I know that he was on Miami for some time. Now there's a lot of talk that Alabama's pulling him. Florida is. What's your take on Xavier Mincy?
Mincy's a really interesting player. He's a very good cover corner. He has really good vision as to where the quarterback is going. I was actually just watching him a little bit earlier today, and he follows the quarterback's eyes very well, and also turns back and looks for the football in coverage. And to me, that's a positive, because you might think, oh, well, that's just the basics. But you wouldn't believe how many corners, and I'm sure you guys know this, don't look back for the football when they're trying to make a play. And Mincy is very good at, finding the ball. He's very good in terms of coming down and making a tackle. He's 6'2", 175 pounds. He's listed on 24/7 Sports, I believe. So, I mean, I would not mind him at all. I think he's extremely athletic. He's a very good cover corner, and he also reacts quickly and uses his speed to, run from sideline to sideline and, impact plays, even if he can't necessarily make a tackle. So I would be happy with him as well. But as you said, Alabama is in the mix for him, and even Florida appears to be in the mix for him as well. So we're gonna have some competition, but Mincy would certainly be a solid pickup for a defense that is already going to be pretty strong.
If you get both of those guys, now you've solidified that defense.
Yeah, just some questions in the chat here. So do we know what actually happened? I mean, George actually just re-upped with the collective for NIL. He's definitely not going anywhere. I don't think X is either. Blue
I don't know, man. I know that's a tricky one because
Blue knows his family really well. I think so far he seems. So I would be surprised if X and. Well, do we know what happened with Brashard? He's not officially in the portal yet. He's just not with the team either. So
it's
not looking good there. Let me just move it that way. It's not looking good there.
I'm gonna say no. I don't know what happened with Brashard, but I know that he wasn't on the plane to New York, and he did not travel with them, and he's not injured. So I'll kind of leave it at that.
You can put 2 and 2 together there. So it's not looking great on that. X and George are captains during the bowl game. That might put you somewhat more in that direction. But it's not just the class coming in. Last year's class we had a lot of talent that could, especially when talking about Restrepo and Smith, that could play in the slot, that didn't get a lot of playing time, that are going to be pushing.
Those guys Joseph. I mean, even Jacoby.
Yeah, Washington's a slot. Is a slot also.
Washington, Jacoby Georgia. If he moves inside the slot, he might even have a bigger year. It's just crazy. There's a lot of competition there, so I wish him all the best, regardless of what happens. But I love Brashard. I think every time he touched the ball, it was electrifying. Right? We thought he was going to score. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. I know Ian has that question, or he said something about Shamar Stewart and Ennis. I don't know about those guys, but I don't know. Whatever with Ennis and Stewart. So
I mean, here's the thing, right? So
we'll see when we get on the field at OSU. So
yeah, and I think look, our coaches are actually really good at evaluating situations. So one of the things they are doing here is building a culture of accountability and buying into the program. So I'm comfortable if they were to take those 2 kids, I'm comfortable that they're going to be fine. But I can totally see if they're like, you know what, no, because no one player is worth kind of, it's the opposite of Manny letting Jeff Thomas come back after he transferred to Illinois, right? It's the opposite of that. It's like, no, Jeff Thomas is a really talented player. One player is not worth, sacrificing a program's culture.
Speaking of Manny, you see who he hired as his defensive coordinator? Jonathan Padkey, my friends.
Oh my God, it's all coming around.
Full circle over there at Duke. He is the new defensive coordinator for Duke. So shout out to him. Hey man, Texas State, he must have done pretty well over there. So
yeah, it's an interesting. We're going to see a lot of old friends. Yeah.
Coach Feely, is he keeping Simpson? Coach Simpson, he might keep some of those guys, right? Coach. By the way, I love Coach Simpson. I think he's a hell of a coach. So, and he did well with that defensive line at Duke this year. under Elko. So I mean, I could see him staying and put Spiele over there. I mean, all those Canes.
Interesting, Jazz. I think for whatever reason, I think this was the one show you missed where Blue went off on Manny.
Oh yeah, I missed that.
Oh, I remember.
Basically, it was right after he got hired, and Melissa had filled in because you weren't here, and she was like, she was very much more diplomatic, and Blue was like, "Yeah, I'm talking to people, and we can't understand how this guy gets another job."
There's so many more qualified candidates.
Yeah, he's like, it's not fair. Like, this guy already blew a chance at an ACC school. Why would anyone hire him straight into that again? It got worse from there. So Blue is not a believer in the Manny Diaz experience. I mean, we experienced it here, so I can see why. It'll be an interesting.
That's right. Put him down. He did.
Yeah, he did pull Malik Murphy. It is. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to have. And of course, it comes right at a time when we are playing Duke in Miami next year, so.
That should be fun.
Manny Diaz will be on the opposite sideline of Hard Rock, but with the way that they've switched the scheduling again, we're not going to play them that frequently, or SMU if you're thinking of Lashley. So interesting times. But Blue was very down on the.
He was.
I think DJ would he give it 3 years so that he'll be fired. I think is what he said.
Yeah. Oh, Blue is not a fan.
All right. Well, I guess we'll head on out of here now.
Should we do? We should do. Well, I was going to say, good call, DJ. We should do price picks, but also should we do some bowl predictions?
Yeah. So I wanted to do some bowl predictions, but I got a two. It's a two-parter. It's a two-part question for both of you, right? So number one, your bowl prediction for tomorrow's game, and number two, after all is said and done, who your starting quarterback is next year. Who do you think it is? Okay. So it could be anybody. Doesn't matter. DJ, I saw your face, so we'll start with you.
Okay, so first my bowl prediction, Miami wins, I'm going to say 28-17.
Like it.
And do I think, who do I want or who do I think realistically?
No. Who do you think is going to be the starting quarterback? I guess who do you want? Whatever you want, man. Whatever you want.
I don't know. I certainly respect you two kind of backing off the Cam Ward hype train. I'm the conductor of the train, and so I want Cam Ward, but I think it's probably going to be.
Yeah, whoever you want.
I honestly don't know because Emery's probably not going to be healed.
No,
right?
you can't back off like that, man. You got to give me a name. I won't let you slide. Emory Williams.
Yeah.
All right. Vish.
I will say Emory Williams is the one scholarship quarterback that will definitely be on the roster next year.
Yeah.
And he already might still go in the portal. We don't know know who might come in. So yeah, him and Judd Anderson will be on the roster. So
sure.
There's house money there where you're like, at least they'll be on the team.
Either way, it's gonna be a risky situation no matter who's under center, I think, unless it's a big name like we talked about earlier. But
Vish, what's your score?
For me, I'll go 20-9. I think it's going to be an ugly, low-scoring kind of defensive battle with bad turf and all that stuff. For the quarterback, I'll go Cam Ward. I think he'll still end up here. I think if he was going to go somewhere else, he would have. I was going to jokingly say Tate Rodemaker. Shout out to our brethren from up north who can't get anyone to quarterback the Orange Bowl.
Listen, if Tate Rodemaker was your starting quarterback for your 2024 season and he wants to leave, you got big problems over there.
Well, not only that, I mean, he was about to, the kid wouldn't even play the Orange Bowl before leaving. He's like, get me out of here.
Get me out of here.
That is, look, I know they went undefeated. That we talk about bad culture. You shouldn't get the kid, because Ja'Carri Brown might still leave.
Yeah.
But he was like, I'm not going to leave you guys screwed. I will play this whole game. After he hadn't played this whole year, right?
Worst ending ever to a 13-0.
This is culture. When we talk about culture, this is what we're talking about. The fact that kid backed out a week before the Orange Bowl.
They have one scholarship.
He could have waited. He could have waited a week and he played the game and then done it. But he's like, screw this. Get me out of here. Maybe he's mad that Norvell put him in with a concussion. Seriously.
Pretty bad.
Because he did do that against Florida. The kid was knocked out on the ground. He came back in a play later and was like, there's no way he doesn't have a concussion. Then he missed the next game for it. So, when we talk about building cultures, is some like the fact that he backed up the orange ball. I mean, we haven't made fun of FSU enough for this stuff. I mean,
tell me about it, man.
All right, host. What do you got for the prediction?
Prediction wise, I'm going to go 24-16 Miami. Right. Again, it might get a little ugly, but I think Miami still has enough to beat Rutgers. Number one. Number two, I'm not going to say the same guy as Cam Ward because I think eventually, at the end of the day, I think it is Cam Ward. But just to be different, I'm going to say that next year's starting quarterback is Caden Salter. And he's not even in the transfer portal yet.
Wait, who I'm sorry. Who did you just say?
Caden Salter.
Who is that?
He's the quarterback at Liberty.
Okay.
Yeah. Trust me, Canes fans know who he is. You might need to go just watch some film, Vish, and then you'll see why I say Caden.
I don't know, man. I've been on vacation. And it's hoop season.
Oh man. Anyways, 31.
I'm breaking down Alabama State's women's team, man. I don't have time for this. So shout out to Rick making the trip to Yankee Stadium tomorrow. Have fun. Hopefully we get a W out of that.
I tell you what, I miss the old Yankee Stadium, not the new corporate Yankee Stadium.
Are you not a Red Sox fan? I don't.
I am a Red Sox fan, but I appreciate.
I gotta appreciate.
I'm not numbered here. Where's Blue land on this? I feel like is Blue
Blue's a Mets fan. He's a
Mets fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just realized we're like 50% Red Sox fans on the show.
We sure are. It's
embarrassing to admit now because we don't like to spend any money, but yeah, yeah.
Anyways, Prize Picks. Let's talk about Prize Picks. I'm gonna have to start betting this when I'm gambling to gamble my Blues away.
You gotta get that NIL money. So
yeah, unbelievable. Anyways, but Prize Picks is awesome because it's daily fantasy. It's daily fantasy sports simplified, right? It's so easy to do it. Go to prizepicks.com. You're gonna log in, put in the code 5 FIVE, and they will match your initial deposit up to $100. It's real simple. You can choose anywhere between 2 to 5 players, 2 to 6 players, somewhere around there. Choose the over/under on their individual categories and win some money. It's real simple, guys. You can mix and match teams, sports. Everything, right? From the NHL to college football, the NFL, NBA, you name it. Even Formula One is on there. So make sure you check them out. Go to prizepicks.com. When you log in, code word 5 FIVE, and they will match your initial deposit. Go check them out. It's prizepicks.com. By the way,
it's Connor Wegman, right?
Connor.
Is it Connor?
It's Connor. That's okay. Anyway. Casey Wigman too. We'll take Casey Wigman as well.
We need depth, man. We need both Wegmans.
We need
the grocery store too, Wegman. We need them all. Bring it all in.
Yeah, if you get Casey, you definitely need Connor. All right.
Yeah. It's a package deal. We'll make it work.
By the way, we got baseball coming up soon, Vish. After the new year, it's time. It's time for
it is time. I saw JD out at the. They showed pictures. He was out the ribbon cutting at the new team store. He's getting
look at that.
Doing the promo shots. So he's getting fired up.
Okay. All right. I see you, JD. I see you. We'll have some really good content for you on that. We'll even have Max will come back on the show. He wants to talk baseball, so we'll bring Max back on to talk baseball. We'll do a baseball only special show coming up soon.
Well, to introduce it, but when the baseball season gets going, we're gonna do regular.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Jazz's dog too, as we.
Yeah. Shout out to me over here barking up a storm because she knows
it's the holiday. She wants to make an appearance, Gotta get in before the new year. So
she's fired for baseball.
Yeah, that's right.
She's a Cuban dog, man. Baseball starts happening.
She was over here trying to shut her up. I'm like, whatever. It's part of the show at this point.
Doesn't matter.
Make sure you check us out on the podcast as well. Wherever you get your podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it is you get your podcast, go check them out. It's a Six Rings Canes podcast. We have a lot of content on there. Not only football, but we've got buckets. No, we don't have buckets, and we need to wait. Do we have buckets?
No, we do have buckets. All over the. Where do you think our downloads are coming from nowadays, man?
I know you.
We're in the middle of basketball season, so that's what's driving the downloads, man.
Awesome.
We're carrying the water on buckets. By the way, buckets at midnight tonight. So
that's gonna be
night
cool.
owls. We're gonna do buckets at midnight. Matt's gonna walk through his holiday light display, which I've seen pictures of outside of his house.
Can you do it with a Taco Bell burrito or quesadilla in his hand? That'd be great.
I feel like for him, he's in California. There's got to be better options. Like we don't get good Mexican food in Miami.
It's not about the better options, though. You know, come on.
It's their security blanket. It's always there when you need it.
Exactly.
But yeah, he's gonna do a walk those light display. We're gonna do our all-time starting fives. Also the teams.
Very cool.
The women play tomorrow, the men Friday, and the women again on Sunday. So a lot of games coming up. So
we will have something for you tomorrow as well, post game.
Yep. Jazz and I are gonna watch this Pinstripe Bowl together. So we'll do that and then do a post game. But yeah, follow Six Rings Canes at Six Rings Canes. Follow the Buckets account at Buckets_Canes. And we're still trying to brand our baseball content. So
yeah, we're trying to figure that out.
So we have had some great options that people have given us on Twitter. So so shout out to the fans for doing that.
And the rest of the bunch.
Yeah, we had some good ones and had some ones that Jazz vehemently shot down. So
you know how it is.
I know exactly how it is. All right, shout out to you, Pimp down. Happy New Year to you as well, but come in for the post game tomorrow. This is not our last show of the year. We're gonna do a post game tomorrow.
One more show, and then we'll wish you all a happy New Year. But we'll see you guys tomorrow.
The Six Ring Cane Show. Yeah. The Six Ring Cane Show. Yeah. The Six Rings Cane Show. You know.